Hey everybody, welcome back to the Coderoom. In previous episodes, we showed you how to create your first HTML document, okay? And we talked all about tags, and we talked about the HTML tag, the head tag, the body tag, and then we opened up that document in a browser, okay? So congratulations, you guys have created your first HTML document, you coded your first piece of code, that's great. Okay, now in this episode, we're gonna take a short break and talk about the web workflow. In other words, how do programmers typically actually write code and then test it, okay? And I'm gonna show you a couple keyboard shortcuts that's gonna make things a lot easier for you as we make changes to our document, okay? And you get in this habit. Okay, so if we look here, this is the document that we were working on, okay? So we had an HTML tag, a head tag, a title tag, a head tag, and then the closing tags, okay? And the very first thing we did was code my first website. And then we opened that up in the browser in Chrome, and we saw there was nothing here, but we saw that my first website up in the right corner here, up on the tab, was there. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so as we go on through development, what we're going to do is we're going to be making changes to this document, and then we want to see those changes on the browser. And this episode is going to talk all about how we do that in a kind of quick, efficient way. Okay? And it has a lot to do with keyboard shortcuts. Okay? You'll find that as you become more and more proficient in coding, you'll spend more time on the keyboard and less time on the mouse. Okay? All right, so here's how we're going to do this. Okay, so let's say we want to change my first website and we want to capitalize the F and capitalize the W, or we want to call it something different, like Casey Lee's first website or something. Okay? So in here, what we can do is we can type, say Casey Lee's first website. Okay, or maybe even just Casey Lee's website. All right, now we've made a change to the document, and now we're going to save. So typically what we would do is go File, Save, right? But again, because we're coders, we're going to stay on the keyboard and make things a little bit faster. So on a Mac, you're going to hit Command S. Okay, on Windows, you're going to hit Control S. And by the way, if you don't know this shortcut, guys, this works across generally all programs. Like any program you use, Command S or Control S is going to save your document, okay? So rather than going to File, Save, okay, you can hit Command S and it'll be saved, okay? And in fact, Sublime does a pretty good job of letting you know what files have been saved and what files have not been saved since they've been changed. So if I change this again, let's say Casey Lee's website exclamation mark, you'll see actually there's a little indicator here that shows when it's a circle that it hasn't been saved. And as soon as I hit Command S, it goes back to the standard close button, and then now it's saved, okay? So the first thing is Control S to save, okay? So you make a change to the website, okay? Casey Lee's website, hit Command S, and you save it. Okay, now we want to go to the Chrome browser to see those changes and make sure they work properly. So typically we would go to the Chrome browser by maybe clicking on our dock or some other way to get to it. But a really quick way to do that through your keyboard, on Windows, it's Alt-Tab. On Mac, it's Command-Tab, okay? So after we've saved here, we go Command-Tab, and you'll see all your programs come up. If you hold down that Alt button on Windows or Command button on Mac, and you just keep hitting Tab, it'll go through those programs, okay? So we're going to go to Chrome, and it'll bring us right there, okay? Now, provided that we're on the right tab where we're viewing our page that we opened, okay, we are now looking at the old page that we opened, and all we want to do is kind of reopen that page. Because now that we made changes in Sublime, we kind of want to reload that page or reopen that page. And the way you reload in a browser is you can either click on the reload button up here, okay, or, again, a shortcut is Command R on a Mac or Control R, okay? Generally, things in Mac are Command and a letter, and generally things in Windows are Control in that letter, okay? So to refresh this page, all I do is hit Command R. And you'll see my title got refreshed, okay? So I reloaded the page after I made the changes. Now I want to go back to Sublime. So all I do is do Alt-Tab in Windows or Command-Tab on Mac, okay? And just let go and it goes back, okay? So if you know all these shortcuts, you see how fast it becomes to make changes. Watch, I'll give you an example. So I make a change, Command S to save, or Control S to save, Alt-Tab or Command-Tab to switch to Chrome, Command R to refresh, there you go, and then Alt-Tab to get back. All without touching the mouse. One more time. Make a change, Command S to save, Command Tab to go to the browser, Command R to refresh, and you see your changes, Command Tab to go back. Okay? Okay, so just to summarize, okay, on a Mac, you make your changes, you hit Command S to save those changes, you do Command Tab to switch to Chrome, you do Command R to reload the page, you do Command Tab to go back to Sublime, and you do the whole thing over again. On Windows, very similar, you make your changes in Sublime, you hit Control S to save, then you Alt Tab to switch to Chrome, hit Control R to reload the page, and Alt Tab to go back to Sublime, okay? Try this a couple times, guys. Make a couple changes to Sublime, go to your browser, refresh it, go back to Sublime, go back and forth, and you'll find it becomes very habitual, okay? Your fingers will get very used to those commands, and this is something you'll be doing a lot when you're doing web development. All right, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys in the next one.